This is Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. As always, on the bright side, we love hearing from you. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls next segment if we have them, and we'll get to, we have an interview coming up at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Rebecca Louise Smith. Her book is called Born to Do It. Dr. Smith is known as the Film Festival Doctor. She works with film festivals and helps consults with film festival producers and helps them put them on. She also understands the power of spirituality and business, which really intrigued me about Dr. Smith's work. Her book, Born to Do It, is about how you integrate spirituality with business. I've always felt that one of the most spiritual things you could do is when you're alive on the earth plane is to have a business, to help people, to serve people, to provide value to people. And Dr. Rebecca Louise Smith knows all about it, and that's what her book, Born to Do It, is about. We'll talk to Rebecca at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls next segment, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team by clicking on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470 for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. Make some money at the same time and leave your imprint on the world of nutrition and the world of business. That's what's so exciting about being in business, is you leave your imprint on the world. And when it comes to helping people with their health, there's no better way to leave your imprint on the world than to help people live long lives, reduce symptoms, lose weight, quit smoking, and get on a good nutritional supplement program. That's what longevity is all about. If that sounds intriguing, and if you're an entrepreneur and you like the entrepreneur lifestyle, click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Or if you like, call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. All right, so we have been talking about choline, vitamin B4, sometimes it's called. Sometimes it's said to be a vitamin-like substance. It's really not a vitamin. It's vitamin-like. It's a building block for various substances, including acetylcholine, which we talked about, and also bile, which is, as I see it, probably the most underappreciated of the fluids in the body. Everybody appreciates blood and urine and saliva, and we talk about these things, but lymph. But we don't really talk about bile a lot. I do on this program because I consider it to be super, super important. Bile's a yellowish green kind of liquid that you've all seen, or most of us have seen. If we've thrown up after a long puking session, you'll end up throwing up yellow-green stuff. That's your bile. Bile's important for the digestive system, and most folks know that, but what most folks don't know is that it's really important for elimination. It's important for detoxification, and insufficient bile or sludgy bile can cause an accumulation of toxicity in the form of food allergens, in the form of prescription drugs. Many prescription drugs are eliminated in bile, and also cholesterol. Cholesterol is supposed to be eliminated in the bile, and if your bile is not working correctly, your gallbladder, your liver, your cholesterol is going to build up, and you're going to think you need a statin drug. Or your doctor's going to think you need a statin drug. And it could just be something as simple as working with the bile system. This is especially problematic for women who are dealing with female health issues because estrogen is supposed to be eliminated in the bile. I remember when I was compounding estrogen topical products in the pharmacy, I used to have to make estrogen creams. And if I was off by 1 microgram, which is like a speck, I would get a complaint from, oftentimes I get a complaint from a patient who couldn't sleep at night, or who noticed that she was gaining weight, or she had all of a sudden she was having anxiety issues, or maybe hot flash issues, all because of problems with a slight amount of a slight excess of estrogen that I was compounding in a product. Or maybe the doctor put the dose too high. It didn't necessarily have to be a mistake. Maybe the doctor put the dose too high. Well, one of the ways the body controls estrogen is by dumping it out in the bile. And if your bile is sludgy and sticky, you're more likely to have, if you're a woman, you're going to be more likely to have estrogenic health issues. And there are a lot of estrogenic health issues that are linked to bile, and problems with bile, and problems with the liver, and problems with the gallbladder. And you won't think about it. You have to be a really good forensic doctor, forensic biochemist, and by forensic I mean finding the scene of the crime, to understand that the fibromyalgia patient you're looking at really has a gallbladder problem or really has a bile problem. Somehow is not eliminating. Here's where it even gets trickier, is when estrogen builds up, that can cause constipation. So you get into this vicious cycle of estrogen buildup leading to constipation, leading to more estrogen buildup, leading to more constipation, and on and on and on. So one of the things you could do if you're dealing with estrogenic health issues, in addition to working with your bile, is improve elimination out of the bowels using fiber, magnesium, vitamin C, various herbs like senna, and slippery elm can help. And with hormones, if you find that you're dealing with estrogenic health issues, you may want to try balancing it out with progesterone. I have a progesterone product, by the way, coming out pretty soon. I've been working on my webpage, and it's a progesterone serum that delivers progesterone. Progesterone, unlike estrogen, by the way, is pretty much non-toxic. Estrogen is really powerful, and a lot of folks are under the impression that all hormones are problematic, and it turns out that there's some hormones that are actually really beneficial for you. I call feel-good hormones. Pregnenolone, we've talked about that in the past. That's a feel-good hormone. DHEA, that could be a feel-good hormone. Both of them are pretty much non-toxic. And then progesterone, very, very underappreciated hormone. Anyway, my progesterone serum will be coming out here in hopefully in a few weeks. We've been just finishing up the webpage. So estrogen, and by the way, it's not just estrogen, it's the metabolite or the breakdown product of estrogen. It's called a catechol estrogen, Catechol. That's really the big problem. Catechols are like, they are like an amplifier. So catechol estrogens are like super estrogens. Catechols amplify the effects of things, and catechol estrogens are like a super form of estrogen. If you're smoking cigarettes, that's another issue, because cigarettes, the carcinogenic substances in cigarette smoke, is also supposed to be eliminated in the bile. One of the best things you could do to support your bile system is use choline. Choline derivatives are found in bile. In fact, bile is largely made up of choline-like substances. So using choline supplements can help. And also, one of my favorite supplements, really underappreciated supplement, is betaine. Betaine is found in your ultimate enzymes. It's found in pretty much all enzyme products. And your ultimate enzymes have betaine HCl. The betaine molecule is like a magnet, and it can attract HCl. HCl is hydrochloric acid. And there's a whole other story there with a lot of people have deficiencies in hydrochloric acid. So digestive enzyme supplements will provide you with hydrochloric acid, but because hydrochloric acid is hydrochloric acid, it's really acidic, they have to stick it to something. They stick it to betaine, and it becomes a delivery system for hydrochloric acid. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back with more on The Bright Side right after this. Okay, we're back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, we got Dr. Rebecca Louise Smith coming up at the bottom of the hour, the film festival doctor. Her book is Born to Do It. It's about the spiritual relationship to business. Born to Do It, becoming the leader of a business niche using powerful spiritual techniques to help others who are thinking about getting into the entrepreneurship field. I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my whole life, since I was a little kid. I had a paper route when I was a little kid and sold magazines when I was a little kid. I always found entrepreneurship to be an exciting adventure. Not everybody does. It's true. Not everybody does. And you've got to really have that kind of mindset. You've got to be a warrior, because there are ups and there's downs. Sometimes there's lots of downs. Sometimes there's not a lot of ups. Sometimes there's lots of ups. I've had a lot of ups personally, and I encourage anybody who wants to contribute to the world, and I know there's a lot of folks who feel like they want to give something back, contribute to the world. Being an entrepreneur is an ideal way to do that. And combining spirituality with being an entrepreneur gives you a real leg up in the entrepreneur field. If you're in a business, or if you are an entrepreneur, if you're starting a business, if you started a business and you haven't leveraged the spiritual aspects of business, and by spirituality I mean somehow connecting a higher power to your business, you're missing a really powerful leverage point. And it may be, if you're not successful, and maybe why you're not successful, is you're not incorporating a higher purpose, if you will, or connection to a higher source to your business. Anyway, we'll talk to Dr. Rebecca Louise Smith about her book, Born to Do It. At the bottom of the hour, get your calls in this segment, 844-236-6010 if we have calls. So we're talking about bile, yellow-green liquid made up of choline substances or choline derivatives, electrolytes, and various other organic molecules. You'll have some cholesterols in your bile. In fact, cholesterol is eliminated through the bile. It's one of the ways that the body dumps out excess cholesterol. And if you have elevated cholesterol, it could be that your bile's not working like it should. Bile is also forms a somewhat significant proportion of the stool, and constipation can be a sign that you're not producing enough bile. If you are constipated, you're going to be much more risk for toxicity, particularly carcinogenic, cancer-causing toxicity. Chronic constipation can lead to the buildup of cancer-causing compounds, especially estrogen. Constipation is a serious, serious issue, serious health problem. Vitamin C can help you if you're constipated. Magnesium can help you. Fiber can help you. Senna and cascara and slippery elm, these are various herbs that can help you. Fiber is really probably the best way, especially if you're dealing with excess estrogen. Fiber not only helps you eliminate estrogen, but it also has a sticky quality, and toxins can stick to fiber. So it has several ways to help detoxify you. Number one, it helps you eliminate through the bowels, but it also acts as a magnetic, almost like a chelate. In fact, it is kind of like a chelating agent. It magnetically pulls in toxins, and they stick to the fiber. I grind up flaxseed fiber every day. I drink a flaxseed fiber beverage, or I put flaxseed fiber ground up. You always want to ground up your flax seeds, by the way. A lot of folks try to take flax seeds and don't grind them up. They end up passing through you because they have a hard shell. So you grind up your flax seeds, and it'll help you become more regular, help you eliminate through the bowels more effectively. But fiber has its own benefits. Flax fiber in particular is a source of vitamin E. It's a really good source of protein, flax seeds. In fact, 30% of your flax seeds is protein. So if you do a flaxseed drink, you can take maybe half a tablespoonful, or even a full tablespoonful, or even a couple tablespoons full. You always want to start off slowly if you haven't done fiber. Start off with maybe half a tablespoonful and work your way up to 1 or 2 tablespoons full. There's about 15 grams in a tablespoonful. So start off maybe 7.5 grams to 15 grams, even up to 30 grams. 30 grams is a lot of fiber every day. You could put it in water and just drink it down. You could put it in water with a little bit of cinnamon or a little stevia. It tastes kind of nutty. Or you could put it in your smoothies. And it's very filling. If you're trying to lose weight, it's a great strategy for losing weight. You can do before you go to your Christmas party, or you go have your Thanksgiving dinner, or you have a big meal, or if you're really hungry and you're going to go out to eat, or you're going to go shopping. I find that if I shop when I'm hungry, I end up buying a lot more food, by the way. So if you're going to go shopping, or if you're going to be going out to eat or something, do half a tablespoonful or a tablespoonful of ground of flax seeds in water with a little stevia, maybe a little honey, a little cinnamon. Drink it down. You'll find you'll eat less food, and you'll be getting protein, and you'll be getting vitamins, and you'll be getting fiber. And flaxseed has an added benefit because it helps balance out estrogen. So just an incredible health strategy. And guess what? You can get a pound of the stuff for $2, not even, organic, $1.50. Always go with the golden flax seeds, by the way. They're better than the brown ones. But either way, you're going to get a lot of nutritional value. It's not going to cost you a lot of money. And it could help you with all kinds of manner of elimination, including chelation, as well as elimination through the bowels. Ironically, when the body's under stress, you're going to end up more sluggish. And that's going to create more stress. When the body's under stress, everything kind of slows down over time. Initially, you get a little surge from cortisol, but over time, as the body's under chronic stress, things start to slow down, especially at the level of the intestine, and that can lead to constipation. Taking choline is also a great strategy for improving bile and improving bowel functioning. Choline, if you've ever seen the term bile salts, that's usually choline substances, choline derivatives. And then there's the whole betaine connection, which I am absolutely... That's got to be one of the most underappreciated and one of the most multifunctional of all supplements that you could take is betaine. For one thing, betaine on its own has some really neat properties, but because of betane's very interesting molecular structure, it sticks to things. And one of the things it sticks to is hydrochloric acid. Now, you can get hydrochloric acid drops. And if you're dealing with any kind of indigestion issues or even acid reflux issues, or if you just want to improve your digestion, hydrochloric acid drops, which you can have formulated for you at a pharmacy, doctors can write prescriptions for it, they can be helpful. But hydrochloric acid is an acid, and it's a little bit difficult to work with, and that's where betaine comes in. Betaine has an ability to stick to hydrochloric acid and form something called betaine hydrochloride, betaine HCl, and you've seen that on your ultimate enzymes. Betaine HCl is like a delivery system for hydrochloric acid. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have to go to the doctor to get it. You don't have to have a prescription to get it. You don't have to deal with hydrochloric acid, which is hydrochloric acid and pretty darn acidic. But you get the benefits of it by taking betaine HCl. But that's not all. Betaine on its own is a really fascinating molecule. So betaine HCl delivers HCl and will help you with your digestive system. But betaine, which comes from choline, by the way, betaine on its own has some really interesting health properties because betaine is a methylator. It's a methylating agent. Yesterday we talked about this Mthfr deficiency. If you have an Mthfr deficiency, it's not like it's a curse. You need more betaine. You're not methylating correctly. Mthfr deficiency is when you don't methylate correctly. The Mthfr enzyme is a methylating enzyme. It helps methylation. I'm going to be spending some time talking about methylation here on our coming Brightside episodes, but just for now, know that betaine, HCl, and your ultimate enzymes is not just going to give you HCl, it's also going to give you betaine, and if you're dealing with any methylation problems, betaine is a great methylating agent. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Dr. Rebecca Louisa Smith coming up in our next segment. Her book, Born to Do It, Becoming a Leader of a Business Niche Using Powerful Spiritual Techniques. We'll be back with Dr. Smith on the Bright Side right after this. Bright Side, I'm Pharmacist Ben, and thanks for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on the archive page at benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that up. We also have an archive page at brightsideben.com. Thank you to GCN for setting that up. And you can also purchase longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And you can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Love to have you on the Brightside Ben team. And also, don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products. All formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds, for dealing with, helping patients deal with various skin health issues, including eczema and psoriasis and acne, and also for preventing post-surgical scarring. What I discovered is when you heal the skin, when you formulate products that heal the skin, you also beautify the skin, which is common sense. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that the same mechanisms that heal the skin, secretion of collagen fibers, support of the division of skin cells, growth of skin cells, maturation of skin cells, stimulation of moisture factors. All of these play a major role in both healing the skin and beautifying the skin. And indeed, it's exactly what happened when people started to use my formulations. Not only was their skin healed from burns and cuts and traumas and scrapes or post-surgical scarring or various skin health issues that they may have had, but they would come back with more beautiful skin. And they would want refills for their healing products just to maintain the health and the look of their skin. And I realized that, wait a minute, we can just repurpose these prescription products. We can just repurpose these products that I was developing on a prescription basis as over-the-counter products because there were no drugs in the products. They were just nutrients. That was the second important point that I realized when I was formulating topical products, is that topical nutrition could give you everything you wanted in a beauty product. Delivering vitamin C in the correct form, by the way, now everybody knows about vitamin C, but this was, when I was doing all this was the late 1980s, early 1990s. Nobody knew about vitamin C in the skin. I knew that vitamin C was important for collagen production because we learned in pharmacy school that vitamin C causes collagen deficiency diseases. Collagen deficiency disease is known as scurvy, and it's caused by vitamin C, by a lack of vitamin C. So I thought, well, gosh, why don't we put vitamin C in the product? And then, because vitamin C was water soluble and broke down quickly and would destroy my formulations, and wouldn't penetrate through the surface of the skin, I figured, well, maybe fat-soluble vitamin C is the trick. And so I started to work with fat-soluble vitamin C. And then I used retinol, vitamin A. I used vitamin E. I used alpha hydroxy acids. In short, I used all of these ingredients that upregulated skin chemistry. Love that word, upregulation. Upregulation means you make things happen. So I use these ingredients that upregulated skin cells. And that's a whole nother issue. Most skincare products don't address the skin cell. If you can feel your skincare product on the surface of the skin and you think you're doing something, you've been fooled. You've been tricked. If you really want to have your skincare product be effective and do something for the skin, it has to be underneath the surface where you can't feel it. Yeah, you want your skin to feel good after you use a skincare product, but feeling good is the booby prize. What you're really looking for is to upregulate, and the way you do that is by using vitamin C, retinol, alpha hydroxy acids, and of course, minerals, polyelectrolytes I call them. Same minerals that you drink in your plant-derived minerals. Polyelectrolyte minerals are minerals that dissolve in water. It's really interesting how you can drink mineral drinks, because you shouldn't be able to drink a mineral drink in the sense that minerals sink to the bottom of your liquid. The reason you can drink a mineral drink is because the minerals are suspended or dissolved in the liquid, and only plants have an ability to do that. Only plants have an ability to transform minerals, actually not plants, but bacteria have an ability to transform minerals into a form that will allow them to dissolve or suspend in liquid. Plants and bacteria, when plants die, the transformed minerals, the bacterially transformed minerals, are left in the soil and they recirculate. That's where colloidal minerals come from. This is why colloidal minerals, by the way, and plant-derived minerals are non-toxic, because they interact with water. So if you ever heard anybody tell you about, oh my God, there's arsenic in there, there's mercury in there, there's aluminum in there. Well, yeah, there's minerals everywhere. All of these elements are everywhere. But when they're colloidal, or when they're been transformed by bacteria, they're not toxic. That's why you can eat broccoli, which has all of the elements in it. All vegetation that grows in soil is going to have all the elements, at least to a small degree. Anyway, Truth Treatments, this is all about Truth Treatment products, and Truth Treatment products can be purchased at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com, and also you can check out our 1,400, that's a lot, 1,400 4- and 5-star reviews at truthreview.com. And the reason we have 1,400 4- and 5-star reviews is because the theory and the concept that I developed with Truth Treatments works. Truthreview.com for our reviews, truthtreatments.com for our products. All right, looks like we're having a problem getting Dr. Rebecca Louise Smith on the program, and that is very unfortunate. I was quite excited to speak with her. Hopefully she'll be around, or if not, we'll just have to reschedule her. I've always thought that there's a very important relationship between spirituality and business. It doesn't seem like there would be a connection between spirituality and business. It seems like they would be actually opposite. In the Bible, it says it's easier for a camel to go through the head of a pin than it is for a rich man to get to the kingdom of heaven. Now, the Bible also tells us that the love of money is the root of all evil. And so there's this idea that there's some kind that business and spirituality don't necessarily go together. Well, I don't believe that. I believe they do go together. In fact, I believe everything goes together with spirituality, but I believe business goes together with spirituality as well. Business can be an opportunity to serve. In fact, when businesses are at their best, that's what they're doing. They're serving. They're providing value. In fact, if you don't have a successful business, you're not providing value. Simple as that. It's all about value. People will buy what they value. And if you are providing a service that people do not value, then you're not going to have a successful business. On the other hand, if you buy a business, or if you start a business that people that provides something that people value, it's going to be successful. It can't help, because that's the definition of success. Value. You provide value in the terms of a service or a product, and the customer provides value in terms of money. That's how business works. And to me, that's the ideal situation. Business is the best of human endeavors, because we're serving and we're providing value and we're helping people. Now, it turns out that if you're selling things like a pet rock, you may not be thinking, it may not seem like there's value there, but obviously somebody valued the pet rock because they sold millions of dollars of pet rocks. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there was a product that came out in the 1970s where a guy took a rock and painted a couple of eyes on it and a mouth and put it in a box and sold it as a pet rock. And he sold millions of dollars of these pet rocks, and it's almost like an icon for the silly things that people buy. Nonetheless, people valued having a pet rock. Now, when it comes to nutrition, obviously, there's a lot, you can see a lot more value, there's a lot more benefit that you get from nutritional supplements, which is why longevity is such an ideal business opportunity. And why it's a business opportunity that you can be proud of. Because you're serving people and you're providing value at the most fundamental level there is, which is the level of good health. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this on The Bright Side. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Lines open 844-236-6010. We're talking about the critical nature of the complex fluid composed of water and electrolytes and various organic molecules, including choline and choline derivatives and cholesterol and a substance that's found in blood cells called bilirubin, a green-yellow liquid that we've all seen if we've been hungover and spent the morning and afternoon after throwing up. If you've seen that green-yellow stuff, that's your bile. Bile, everybody knows, is important for the digestive system, important for the absorption of fats. It's nature's natural emulsifying agent, but it's also a major detoxifier. In fact, one of the things that detoxifies is vaccinations, or the bacteria that are found in vaccines. I'm not sure about this new RNA vaccine that's coming out. This is a whole nother health challenge that we're about to confront here. This new COVID vaccine that is supposedly 95% effective. Do you ever wonder what that 95% effective actually means? It's really interesting. According to the British Medical Journal, this 95% effective claim comes from here. This is how it's derived. This is how they came up with the number. And this is the Pfizer vaccine. There's two vaccines. There's the Pfizer vaccine and there's the Moderna vaccine. So the Pfizer vaccine, they did a trial. Usually when they test vaccines, they take years to test because you can't really see whether something is going to be toxic or have effects until a while later. This is the first time a vaccine's been rushed to this extent. So we really don't know. The first people who take this vaccine, who are going to be old people, by the way, older folks probably, healthcare workers, I guess, the people, they're going to be guinea pigs. Make no mistake about it. The first people to get this vaccine are guinea pigs, and the fact that now you're not going to be able to fly without a vaccine, you're not going to be able to go to concerts. Ticketmaster, I was just reading, Ticketmaster is going to require proof of a vaccination to go to a concert. And you're going to need vaccines to go to restaurants and bars and movie theaters and to fly. It's already there to fly. And the first people to get this, and make no mistake about it, are going to be guinea pigs. Because there's no way to know about the adverse reaction of something like this for years. So the first people to take it are going to be guinea pigs, make no mistake about it. And this 95% effective claim that they talk about, in the case of the Pfizer vaccine, they did a trial of 44,000 people. Half of the people, 22,000 people, got the vaccine. 22,000 got what's a fake vaccine or a placebo. And of the 44,000 people, this is how they came up with the number. This is unbelievable. Of the 44,000 people, 170 of these people, of that 44,000, became infected. And of that 170, 8 of them had been vaccinated, and 162 of them had not been vaccinated. Thus the number 95%, because 154 cases of COVID-19, unbelievable. 154 of the 162 cases of COVID-19 were in the unvaccinated group. And that's how they came up with the number 95%. If you're confused about that, you're not alone. It makes zero sense. It's ridiculous. And by the way, this idea about how well this test works, it doesn't necessarily keep you from getting a virus. It keeps you from being symptomatic. It keeps you from having symptoms. So I don't understand what the logic is to having the masses of humanity become vaccinated unless there's some nefarious purposes, which there could very well be. And as far as safety goes, It takes years and years to figure out whether a vaccine is safe. And by the way, when they test vaccines, they don't test sick people. They test healthy people. Those 44,000 people that got tested, they weren't old people. They weren't people on multiple drugs. They weren't people who were obese and comorbid. They were normal health. They were average healthy people, healthy as we can be in our culture. So all of this stuff about safety and efficacy, it doesn't apply to people who are comorbid, who have other disease states, diabetes or asthma or autoimmune conditions, cancer. They're not being tested. They weren't included in the test. There's so much bad science in this. And this is what happens when politics becomes scientific. And this is why I'm always skeptical of scientists who are politicians. And I don't mean elected politicians, but people who run agencies, doctors who are involved with the government, and healthcare professionals who are giving us health advice that is based on political expediency. And it's always going to be based on political expediency if you're talking about the government. It's a big problem. Now, not that we have any options, because, like I say, you're not going to be able to do things. You're not going to be able to live your life unless you are vaccinated. And you can go off the grid, and that's true. And probably you'll still be able to do that. But as long as you want to participate in the society, guess what? You're going to be vaccinated. I'm doing business internationally, so I'm going to have to travel internationally. So I'm going to have to get the vaccine. That's just the way it is. Now, bile, speaking of bile, which we've been talking about, plays a really important role in protecting the body against vaccinations, against some of the toxicity from ordinary bacterial vaccinations, the kind where they put a live or an attenuated bacteria in the vaccine. And if you're dealing with a bile health issue, a liver issue, you're going to be more at risk for problems associated with so-called vaccine injury. Liver is likely going to be involved in folks who have vaccine injury. This is one of the reasons why it's associated with autism, by the way. You probably heard that vaccination associated adverse effects, VAAEs they call them, vaccination associated adverse effects, include autism. And features of autism often involve problems with the digestive tract, problems with the liver, and likely problems with bile as well. So if you're reasonably, and it is reasonable to question the safety of vaccines, and you have to do a vaccine, make sure you're working on your detoxification system or your kid's detoxification system. Make sure your kid doesn't have food allergies, or you're at least minimizing the impact of food allergies by controlling the kinds of foods your kid eats. Make sure your kid's using probiotics. Make sure your kid is not chronically constipated or not eating foods that cause chronic constipation. And if you're an adult, these things are like the same is true if you're an adult, if you're getting the flu vaccine. If you plan on getting the flu vaccine, and I don't know why you would, but if you really want the flu vaccine, make sure you're healthy. The healthier you are, the less likely you are going to be dealing with a vaccine-associated injury, vaccination-associated injury, especially around liver health. And by the way, vitamin A is almost like a natural vaccine in the sense that vitamin A is a major player in liver health as well as in the health of the immune system, and vitamin A deficiency is not uncommon. Vitamin A is one of those vitamins, by the way, that you can take too much of. Not that it's going to be toxic necessarily, but there's a condition called hypervitaminosis A, which is when you take really ridiculous amounts of vitamin A, and by ridiculous amounts I mean like 200 or 300 or 400,000 international units a day for a long period of time. Dr. Robert Atkins, by the way, famously was prescribing 200,000 international units of vitamin A for treating acne, and according to several of his books, he writes that he was treating acne very successfully using these high concentrations of vitamin A. I'm not sure I'd recommend that, but that's what Dr. Atkins said, and Dr. Atkins was very prescient in a lot of ways. He predicted a lot of and he understood a lot of biochemical mechanisms that were related to the diet. Of course, Dr. Robert Atkins is one of the first guys to talk about the paleo diet. He made some mistakes, of course, but his dietary wisdom and nutritional supplement wisdom, he was also big on nutritional supplements, for their therapeutic and medical effects and medical properties. He was really right on for a lot of things. I still refer back to my Dr. Atkins research, my Dr. Atkins book, supplement book. I forgot the title of it, periodically. All right. So we'll continue talking about choline and the importance of choline, and we'll also talk about betaine, because I'm just absolutely blown away with betaine. As far as methylation goes, if you're even dabbling in the world of nutrition, I'm sure you've heard of MTHFR deficiency, and MTHFR deficiency is associated with problems doing this methylation biochemistry. Methylation is a way that the body makes things. It sticks a methyl onto various chemicals. Think Tinker Toys. As always, when it comes to biochemistry, think Tinker Toys. And a methyl is like a piece of a Tinker Toy that's attached to another Tinker Toy. And when that piece is attached, it changes the nature of various chemicals for better or worse. Usually it's associated with, when we talk about MTHFR deficiency, it's associated with detoxification of something called homocysteine. And we'll spend time talking about that next week. And that's all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thank you so much for listening. I am Pharmacist Ben. Check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for news stories, blog posts, the longevity products, and also a Join the Team link that you can click on if you want to sign up to join the Bright Side Ben team, and our Truth Skin Health products. We've got Christmas specials running for the month at truthtreatments.com. Have an awesome, wonderful, beautiful day. I'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.